What is up, everyone? My name is Jack Southall, and I like to talk about wrestling, obviously. So welcome to my new series. What is it called? I don't know, to be honest with you. But this is going to be a series of videos where I review the year 2001 for the WWF in pay-per-view form. So, like, what are we going to review? Royal Rumble, No Way Out, WrestleMania 17, Backlash, Insurrection, Judgment Day, King of the Ring, Fully Loaded, SummerSlam, Unforgiven, No Mercy, Rebellion, Survivor Series, and Vengeance. So, yeah, we've got around like 14 pay-per-views, 12 normal, and 2 UK exclusive. So, what happened in wrestling during that time? Well, WWF is just on top of the world. Like, they are the leader, right? And then there's WCW and ECW, and they're on a cliff, and they're just holding on by a fingertip. ECW in that month had their final pay-per-view, Guilty as Charged, and WCW had their first pay-per-view of the year, Sin. In the main event, I believe Scott Steiner beat Jeff Jarrett, Sid Vicious, and Animal in a Four Corners match for the World Heavyweight title. Sweet. But yeah, let's get... So, WWF are on top of the world. They've got, hands down, the best roster they've had in years. But yeah, let's get into the show. Oh, before I get to that, on Sunday Night Heat, before the show took place, it was a tag team match. Kaientai, Takamishinoku, and Funaki took on Lowdown, D'Lo Brown, and Chaz with Tyler Alishing, whatever. They ended up winning in a tag match to earn a spot in the Royal Rumble, but unfortunately they were taken up by someone else, which I'll get to later on. So, yeah, let's not muck around. Let's get into this. Cue transition. Come on, show the match. Opening up is the WWF Tag Team Championships. We have Edge and Christian versus the Dudleys. Great opener to start off the show, honestly. Yeah, these two teams did a really good job. Now, Edge and Christian, Hardys and the Dudleys, they were kind of feuding with each other every now and then, you know, on and off, whatever. But, so the build-up to this match is, so on Raw before the Rumble, Edge and Christian attacked them from behind with some steel chairs, hit some concertos, and did a bunch of crazy shit. Then on SmackDown, they fucked up their heads or something and did it again. So we've got a concussion angle, something that the WWE would never, ever do, because, you know, we all know what happened with Chris Benoit, but we'll get to him a bit later on. So, some highlights of this match that I'll just read off here. So, yeah, Dudley's come out. This is the thing I love about Attitude Era crowds. Everything is over. The tag division's over. The women's division is over. Everything is over. Like, for example, if this bear right here, if he was a wrestler, like, people would go nuts for him. Like, I don't even know why I use that as an example, but that's the best I can do. Something that annoyed me is that people chanted for tables, like, the second the match started. Like, calm down, fellas. You gotta work your way before you can get to the table spot. Yeah, so, some stuff we got going on. A cool spot here, so Edge piles on behind the ref back. Edge tags in and calls for like a pile driver. Christian ends up top for like a spike combo or something, like an indie taker kind of thing, but not really. Devon reverses with like a catapult, sends Edge into Christian. Christian lands on his ball sack, which was funny, and he's still selling it. it. So there's also a bit where like so fucking Bubba Ray comes in, he hits the Bubba Bomb on Christian, he hits a scoop slam on Edge, crowd senses like the what's up thing, and they're going like, fuck yeah, do it, and so they're just going crazy, and all that. And Devon tries to get some tables, but Christian cuts him off. They try to break him, so the ref's just like trying to break him up. Edge tries to hit Bubba Ray with the belt. He ducks and has a schoolboy for the 2 count, which right there. So Christian's getting ready for the Unprettier. Devon breaks it up. They say get ready for the 3D or something like that. Edge spears Bubba. Christian counters to the DDT on Devon. Edge puts the cover on Bubba. Only gets 2. So Edge and Christian. My favorite bit of this match. Christian and Edge try to do their own what's up, and Edge's face is just it's funny. I really, for some reason. But Bubba counters the roll up, but Devon tosses Edge off into the pin, and he puts his nose up Christian's asshole. Ugh, that'd not be a good smell. Ugh. But so Christian rolls to the floor. They hit the 3D on Edge, and they win the tag team titles. The crowd loves it, and this is a great opener to this pay-per-view. You know, it was a hot way to start off the show. Edge and Christian were just being complete douchebags, which it was funny. Dudley boys were over as shit. Like, Devon got a couple of chants in, and yeah, it was just a good old-fashioned tag team match, and I really enjoyed it. So, Drew Carey is a big part of this show. Drew bloody Carey. So, he's here to promote his fucking Improv All-Stars pay-per-view or whatever. Yeah, this really pissed me off. So, Triple H is backstage with Stephanie. They're having a bit of a kerfuffle, whatever. Drew Carey comes in, he says g'day, and he says, oh, you married the boss's daughter? And he's like, yeah, and Drew Carey goes, oh, sorry, I haven't been watching the show recently. WWE Hall of Famer Drew Carey. Wow. And he cuts this shitty joke about Kamala. So, whatever. It was just an awkward fucking segment. I overacted the shit. Stephanie McMahon is so much better nowadays than she was back then. Even though she was, like, mint. She was good, mate. So, Drew Carey wants to go see Vince to give him some advice on, like, promotion for pay-per-views and all that. So, Stephanie is like, oh, Trish is over there, you can go talk to her. And he's like, oh, alright. Next, we got the APA playing some cards in the back. This is great. I love the APA. You know, that was so sick. And so, they show each other their entrance numbers and all that. I love the thing how they've got that wooden door, and you couldn't get into the bloody room, even though there's like no walls. You have to get through the wooden door. And so, Crash Holly comes in, rest in peace, and he says, if the APA gets in his way, he'll throw him out. And then Bradshaw's like, and they call us drunks, and Farouk responds with his infamous, damn! Alright, next up, we have a ladder match for the Intercontinental Championship. Chris Benoit versus Chris Jericho. Yeah, boy. So, they show the video package, and it's just a collection of just various matches they've had in the past, and Benoit cuts a promo on the ladder, which is just weird. So, we get some... So, Jericho comes out, he's looking awesome, and Benoit's just cruising to the ring. Yeah, very hard to watch. Just some of the stuff they were doing to poor Benoit, like, especially to his head. And did you guys, if you've seen the pay-per-view, did you see the way that when Benoit dived out of the ring and Jericho just smacked him with the chair? I won't play the clip because WWE might get at me, but you just hear this. Hear this. See, that sounds brutal, but very cool stuff. You know, they don't have like a bunch of ladders and just chucking them and breaking them and all that. I think they used like only one ladder during this match. I think they may have used more, but so yeah, lots of moves to Benoit's head, which is really disturbing to watch. You know. So after that, he hits him with the chair. He rides the ladder towards Benoit. Benoit dodges, and Jericho just eats. His face just goes right into the barricade. He rams the ladder in Jericho's mouth, which is kind of hard, and gives him a chair shot to the back. So let's read some more spots here. Yeah, just some more crazy stuff. But the craziest spot in this match, in my opinion, was when Chris Jericho and Benoit are on the ladder fighting, and in this really innovative and awesome move, he puts on the walls of Jericho onto the ladder. Like, I wish I can. I'll show you how it's done. It was very awesome to see. I know you can't, you know, make it real. You know, Benoit had to cooperate with Jericho during that move, but at the end of the day, it was still an awesome spot. So, so just to end off this match, Benoit tried to kick him off the. Jericho's on the ladder. Benoit tried to kick him off, but Jericho goes off the ropes and dumps the ladder. Benoit falls all the way to the floor, and I love how Benoit just fell to the floor. I thought it was just funny, in my opinion. Jericho sets up the ladder as Benoit's struggling to get up. Jericho's at the top, and he grabs the championship. You know, what a fantastic ladder match. These two guys, technical masters, just put on a great showing. And when I pick my match of the night, I think that one's going to win. So, yeah, 2 thumbs up to both these competitors. Great stuff. And it's probably going to get forgotten because of what Benoit did later on in his life, unfortunately. Next up, we see Drew Carey coming to Trish Stratus. Trish is just, oh my god, she's also looking mint. But, Trish is like, oh, I'm with someone at the moment. Drew's trying to hit on Trish. And so Vince comes in and he says to Drew, yeah, you should do some improv competing in the Royal Rumble. And Carey's like, the fuck? Alright. So then we get backstage to famous porn star Chyna. The one Billy Gunn comes in and he's like, oh, don't go out there because doctors and shit. And Chyna's like, I can do this by myself. So, yeah, that happened. Alright, speaking of Chyna, that leads to our next match for the Women's Championship. Ivory from Right to Censor versus Chyna. Now, for those of you who do not know, Right to Censor was a group involving Ivory, Val Venus, the Godfather, now known as the Good Father, Bull Buchanan, and Steven Richards. And it was pretty much a fucking take on the PTC, the Parents Television Council, because they would always rip apart WWE because they're too violent and they're too sexual and just a bunch of bullshit. Because, you know, the PTC are a bunch of idiots. We all know that. But so it was a great gimmick, just taking the piss out of them. I thought it was funny. So yes. So apparently Chyna gets a serious neck injury by Ivory, and she recovers in just 3 weeks. storytelling. But then, oh, I'm fine. I just had a hurt neck that I nearly broke. I can compete in a fucking match. So, yeah. JR says something really funny and says Ivory is sexually repressed and I think she's 30 days a month something. Talking about she's on a period. Which is really, really funny. So, like that. Chyna comes in with some clotheslines and hair pulls, some trashy wrestling here. Chyna hits the Snapman, lands some forearms, bunch of shit happens. And then in one of the most ridiculous endings I've seen in wrestling. Well, it may not be the most ridiculous, but what I've seen. So, she puts Ivory into the corner. And she does her flippity-dippity thing, where, like, she does a cartwheel and, like, a backflip kind of thing. And then when she hits on Ivory, she falls down in one of the fakest sells I've ever seen. Because, like, she just falls back, and she's like, oh, no, shit, fuck, and she's just selling it terribly. Ivory comes in, gets the pin. And, oh my god, fuck. This was a pretty bad match, to be honest. Just the ending pissed me off, because they're selling it like this is fucking real, which it wasn't. And so, Sergeant Slaughter comes in, bloody, and all that, to check up on her. Billy Gunn runs in, and Jim Ross uses the damn Owen Hart voice, you know, how he talks, you know, very somber to, you know, make sure it's taken very seriously. You know, just, most ridiculous stuff, you know. Yeah, just a stupid fucking angle. And Sergeant Slaughter chance comes up, which is funny, and she appears just in time for WrestleMania. What a coincidence. So, Stephanie and Trish have a bit of an argy-bargy in the back room. Drew Carey, he's getting geared up. Yeah, and he's like, who's that goofy guy in the mask? Which ends up being Kane. And Kane's just like, just walks off. So then we get Lowdown in the back with D'Lo Brown, Chaz, who is Headbanger Mosh, and Tiger Ali Shin. And they're talking about, like, who's going to be in the Rumble between D'Lo Brown and Chaz. Then Vinnie Mac comes in, and he's all like, oh, I'm sorry, guys, but your spot's been taken by Drew Carey. And just one of the, in a very stupid moment, as much as this pay-per-view is great, it's not perfect. Just like that Chyna Ivory match and then this segment, because he goes like, who is Drew Carey? We get some fans at the WWF New York, because remember when they had that, where like they had their own club or bar, whatever the shit it was in New York, and they ask fans like, who's gonna win in the title match between Triple H and Kurt Angle, and they give the most generic answers like, Triple H is gonna win because he's the game and shit, and you know, Kurt Angle's gonna win because he's got the free eyes and shit, you know, like that. Just very generic answering. Meanwhile, we get this weird thing of Triple H just staring into a mirror and trying to headbutt it. I mean, could you just imagine, you know, headbutting a mirror to get pumped up to stuff? If that works, I should use that more often. Alright, next up is the WWF Championship match. Kurt Angle with Trish Stratus in his corner versus Triple H with Stephanie McMahon-Helmsley in his corner. So, this is a weird, how do I describe this build-up? So, Triple H is this big, bad monster heel because he's just found out that he ran over Austin, and he's somehow survived ever since, from Survivor Series, since Austin flipped him over when he was in a car and nearly died. And then we get bloody Kurt Angle, who's just this goofy idiot, so no one knows who to cheer for. It's a heel versus heel match. You know, kind of, yeah, like I said before, Kurt Angle was a goofy heel, despite him being a tremendous wrestler. But I think the storyline is, I might not be right, but so Trish is having an affair with Vince McMahon. Stephanie McMahon is really jealous, and because that means she may not be the most powerful woman in the company, and Trish might be because she's getting involved with Beanie Mac. But so this is like a love triangle, rectangle, whatever the fuck it is. But so Triple H comes out with the debut of his Motorhead theme, which I didn't know. I thought he was going to come out to the My Time thing, which is pretty cool actually. But Kurt Angle comes out with "No You Suck" chant. I think this is like, it happened the year after this, 2002, where it started, but I may be wrong. But anyway, pretty good match overall. During the match, Stephanie McMahon and Trish Stratus have a bit of a brawl on the outside, and you know, fucking Vince McMahon comes out to push them away and to stop them fighting. Weirdly, Triple H hits a fucking razor's edge during the match, off the top rope. Triple H gets into a pedigree, countered, 2-leg takedown, and so he kicks off Angle into the turnbuckle, but as he falls, he crotches Triple H on the way down, which is always funny to see. So Angle goes up with a beautiful moonsault. Only gets a 2 count because it's a leg cover for a knee that he got injured earlier. So as the match continues, so Angle swings the belt. So Triple H gets the championship belt and tosses, and he swings it, but Angle counters with a belly to belly. Angle tries to hit the belt, but Triple H counters, hits the pedigree with a huge pop because the fans decided to cheer Triple H for this match. They had to cheer someone, you know, even though they don't like both of them. But so still, ref is down. Triple H is trying to tell the ref, get the fuck up, but he's not having any of it until Austin comes out. Why? Because I just told you beforehand. Beats the shit out of him. He hits him with the belt. Triple H does a blade job. Because remember, this is Attitude Era. Blood is still a key favor. So, Austin rolls Hebner into the ring. Hits the stunner on Triple H. So, yeah, Angle gets the win here. But, yeah, as good of a match this was, I thought this was a little bit overbooked, in my opinion. You just had run-ins and just a bunch of crazy stuff. Ref bumps, like, it was a bit much. But anyway, Kurt Angle retains the title. He didn't have his straps on. Like, you know how like Kurt Angle would like tear off his straps like during something important during a match? He didn't even have them on. But yeah, I don't know, just a little nitpick from me. So Rock is in the back. He cut some promos and all that. Alright, here we go. Main event time. It is the 30-man Royal Rumble match, and I really enjoyed this match. So we start off with Jeff Hardy and Bull Buchanan from Right to Censor. They square off. Matt Hardy comes in at number 3, and you know they go to work on Bull, which is some bullshit. So yeah, they go to work on Bull. Farouk comes in, and Matt and Jeff eliminate Bull and Farouk, and then they start fighting each other, and then all of a sudden Drew Carey comes out at number 5. So Drew Carey comes out, and he's just standing there in the ring, and he's watching Matt and Jeff have a fight. They eliminate each other, and so Drew Carey is just in the ring all by himself. And then number 6 comes out, and it's Kane, or the goofy guy in the mask, as he was called. But, so then he offers him a handshake. Kane's like, nope. And then, like, Drew Carey tries to offer him some cash, and Kane's not accepting it. So, I think he goes for a chokeslam. He's about to chokeslam Drew Carey until Raven comes in to make a save, and that's when all the hardcore guys come in, like Al Snow, Perry Saturn, Steve Blackman, Grandmaster Sexay. I might as well count him in. They all come in. The ring is just littered with just shit and all that. Well, not actual shit, because that'd be gross, but, you know, just weapons like trash cans and just a whole bunch of crap. Of course, Kane just throws them all out like they're nothing. And then number 12 comes in. It is the Honky Tonk Man, who hadn't been in WWE for a while. He made his return, and he's doing his typical Honky Tonk Man shtick. And he's like, "Thank you, you're a wonderful audience. Thank you, thank you, thank you." When he's coming in, and he's like, "Oh, I'm gonna sing my song for you," and Kane's just like, "The fuck, dude." And he's singing the song, and he's like, "Hey, Kane, hold this." And so Kane gets his guitar. So then Honky Tonk Man comes in. He's like, "I'm gonna sing my song for you," and does the Honky Tonk Man song. You can just find it on YouTube or whatever, you'll get it. But yeah, Honky Tonk Man, he starts singing his song. Then Kane gets his guitar and just smashes him over the head with it, Jeff Jarrett style. It was really funny, and Kane just starts shaking his head like, "Really, nigga?" Just throws him out of the ring, which was really funny. And then we get to number 13, which is The Rock. And he starts working on Kane. Yeah, in this bit, a whole bunch of guys come out. We've got, who have we got? Goodfather, Jesus. Taz, Bradshaw, Albert, Hardcore Holly, K-Quick, Val Venus, from right to center, William Regal, Test, just shitload of guys come in to fill up the ring. So then, coming in at number 23, The Big Show shows up. For those of you who don't know, Big Show was, about a year ago, was told to go down OVW, which used to be WWE's developmental system before NXT came up. The Big Show comes in, he starts wreaking havoc, and he then gets eliminated by The Rock. He gets really pissed off, he's in to tear apart the table, the announce table. He pulls Rock underneath the ring, and I believe starts brawling with him. He then chokeslams him through the announce table. It looked really cool, in my opinion. And so then Undertaker comes in on his fucking motorbike and all that. I think Crash Holly came in at number 24. Sorry about that. Then the Undertaker comes in, and they pretty much, Kane and the Undertaker, they just destroy everybody. Then they throw out Bradshaw, Albert, Hardcore Holly. They throw out a bunch of guys. So Undertaker and Kane, they start throwing out a bunch of guys. It's just them in the ring, minus with The Rock being outside of the ring, and they're just waiting for their next opponent. They're just practically standing there like this. They're like, "Yep, come on, what you want." And number 26 is poor Scotty 2 Hotty. And so there's this horrible image. Well, it's not horrible. And then there's this funny ass image of just Undertaker and Kane as just standing there, and Scotty's like, "Oh, I don't want to walk into the ring," and he's like, "I'm gonna get hurt." And so Undertaker and Kane just beat the shit out of him and just chuck him out like he's nothing. And then number 27 hits Stone Cold Steve Austin. He's about to come, and then Triple H comes in and jumps in from behind. He beats him down. Rock comes in and jumps Kane from behind. That doesn't go anywhere. So Triple H is still beating him down. Austin does an epic blade job. And then number 28 is the one Billy Gunn. he comes in, and he ends up being the final four. How, I have no idea. Number 29 is Haku, who's got like a crazy and he's got like a crazy afro. It looks sick. Apparently Haku is like one of the toughest guys, like one of the most legit toughest guys in pro wrestling. So yeah, the crowd doesn't react because I don't really think they knew him too well. He chops Taker around, that doesn't last long. And so Rikishi ends up being number 30. He tries to pick a fight with Austin. Austin's like, come on mate, you want some? Austin throws Haku out. Bunch of shenanigans happen. So Undertaker tries to shit can The Rock, but he slides onto the apron. Rikishi then gives him a super kick, and he's out of here. So then we get to the final four, which is Stone Cold Steve Austin, The Rock, Kane, and Billy Gunn. Just Billy Gunn is the final person. But oh yeah, Rikishi got eliminated, of course. He was going to go for the bonsai drop. Rock gives him a arm onto the, just hits him in the dick, and then tosses him out. Then we get to the final four, and so Austin's getting ready for a stunner. Gunn pushes him off, counts for Famouser. He tries to toss him, then Austin reverses and tosses him. Then we get a great showdown between these three guys, Austin, Rock, and Kane. So then Austin and Rock lock eyes, and the crowd's like, yeah boy, they want to see it. Kane gets a head of steam, and Rock tosses in between the ropes. Austin and Rock have a bit of a punch fest, and then Austin scoops him, but nothing happens. Rock now tries, but Kane's back and dumps Rock from behind. Austin lands on the apron, and Kane's like celebrating. He's like, yeah, I won the Rumble and all that stuff. But then he doesn't realize Austin's still in. Austin attacks with some right hands, but he runs right into a chokeslam. Kane calls for the tombstone, but Austin gives him a low blow. Kane rolls to the floor. He grabs a chair. He goes to swing it, but Austin goes low again. Kane. So then, off a whip reversal, Kane scoops Austin on his shoulders. Austin slides out and hits the stunner, and then he gets the chair and just hits him in the skull, and it looked really, really brutal. Just the way he just swung him at the chair swung that chair 3 times. It looked brutal to watch. Just ugh. Then he finally hits him with the clothesline, and Austin is your Royal Rumble winner. This was a beautifully executed Royal Rumble match, you know. Everything made sense and allowed a good amount of wrestlers to hit some signature moves, did some cool spots. And there was a variety of believable winners in this one, you know. Maybe Rock could win, or Big Show could win, maybe Taker, Kane, and, you know, of course Austin, who ended up winning. And just that, and the last three guys did a great job. So the interferences between Triple H and the Big Show made perfect sense because Triple H is still in this feud with Austin, and Big Show got pissy about The Rock throwing him out, and it was great. And just Kane, of course, in this match scored the most eliminations in the history of Royal Rumble, with 11 guys being eliminated. That was until Mr. Cock His Fist, Roman Reigns, got 12 in. But this was a fantastic Royal Rumble match. I really enjoyed it. So yeah, this is the wrap-up segment. I thought this was a great pay-per-view, you know. We had a hot opener, a fantastic ladder match, a not that good women's match, We had an alright WWE title match and the Royal Rumble match, which is awesome. This was a great pay-per-view. I really enjoyed it. My match of the night, what would that be? It's a toss-up. It would be a toss-up between the Royal Rumble match and Jericho and Benoit. Who would win? I'm going to have to go with the Royal Rumble match. But yeah, make sure to check out Benoit and Jericho's ladder match. That's still very highly recommended. But yeah, fantastic pay-per-view. What would I give it? I'm going to give the show an 8.5 out of 10. Great stuff here. Great stuff all together. Even though I did not like the Chyna and Ivory angle, because I thought that was a bit scumbaggy-ish. And I thought the WWE title match was a little bit overbooked. But overall, it was still great. So then this would lead into No Way Out, which will be our next episode of this series. And yeah, I hope you guys have enjoyed this. Make sure to like this video if you enjoyed. Comment down below your thoughts of this pay-per-view. Make sure to hit that good looking subscribe button. It's a sexy looking son of a bitch. So make sure to hit that. Yeah, awesome fucking pay-per-view. Please check this one out. And yeah, that would be it. And I am out in 3, 2, 1.